Well, joining us now is Brandon, and he's going to talk about a website to encourage the true dialogue with atheists, which is so important. Hey, Brandon, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's great to be back.
You're a busy guy. You're a husband, you're a dad, an engineer. What made you decide to establish StrangeNotions.com?
Well, StrangeNotions is a website, as you mentioned, meant to put Catholics and atheists into conversation. And the reason why I personally felt drawn to this sort of work was, I'm 27 years old, and so most of my generation is struggling with these very big questions about whether God exists, what is morality, what is the meaning of life, where did this universe come from? And unfortunately, a large number of those in my generation have drifted into, if not outright atheism, then some sort of ambivalence or agnosticism. And so this site was meant to engage that sort of population with the strength and richness of the Catholic intellectual tradition.
Wow. Brandon, it's so important to have dialogue, but perhaps even more important that that dialogue be respectful. So how difficult is it to maintain a respectful conversation between atheists and those of us who share the Catholic faith?
Good question. It's, of course, difficult, but not impossible. We go to great lengths at StrangeNotions.com to ensure that the dialogue is charitable and fruitful and productive for everybody. We have some very extensive commenting rules where we require things like people using their real name instead of commenting anonymously. We have a group of moderators who ensure that all the comments stay in line. We make people aware of the most common fallacies that are often fallen into in discussions like this. And so we really try hard to cultivate it, and it's been pretty successful so far. We started the site a couple months ago, and we've already had about 30,000 comments. And out of all of those, we've only had to ban 3 users. So tens of thousands of comments, we've only had to ban 3, so we take that as a sign of success.
Oh, no, I think that's excellent. We get a lot of letters here in mail, Brandon, and many families are dismayed when they learn that a relative has declared themselves an atheist. What response would you recommend for those people?
Yeah, this is one of the most common and tragic storylines that is popping up on a consistent basis around the church. I have many priest friends who say the same thing, that just about every week they talk to a parishioner who says, my child was born and raised in the church. We took them to Mass every week. They went to Catholic schools, and then they went off to college, and now they've returned home and say they no longer believe in God. You hear this time and again from parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and so it's sort of become a growing phenomenon that the church needs to take seriously. Now, the advice I would give is, first of all, to not be discouraged. Many Catholics have gone through this sort of phase, many saints even. I think of St. Augustine, who immediately comes to mind. But many have left the faith for sometimes many years, only to return later. So first, don't be discouraged. Second, follow the example of St. Augustine's mother, Monica, who prayed for him. And so that would be the first recourse, is when your son or daughter or nephew or niece drifts away from the faith, first bring them to the Lord in prayer. And then third, I'd suggest that parents equip themselves with arguments for God, and not just arguments based on the Bible, which are strong and needed, but arguments that don't even have recourse to the Bible, ones that depend on philosophy and logic and reason. The Catholic tradition is full of these. If you go to StrangeNotions.com, right on the homepage, you'll find a link to 20 arguments for God's existence, 20 different ways to show that God is real. And so if you're a parent or a grandparent, it'll behoove you to learn these arguments, maybe pick a couple of them. But even if you can't remember them, you might just send your son or daughter or grandson a link to this site to just make them aware that Catholicism is not a fideistic faith. It's not just built on irrational belief, but is grounded on deep reason and philosophy.
Brandon, every time I see you get this one picture, it's on your book, it's on your website, it's been on the screen while you were talking. You got the best smile, man. You really, you make me laugh when I see you, in a nice way. So,
good.
So people can go to StrangeNotions.com, and that's where they can participate in this dialogue, correct?
That's right. There's a great dialogue happening every day. There's tons of articles and videos, and anybody who wants to learn more about the reasons for our Catholic faith will find them at StrangeNotions.com.
Okay, well, Brandon, thank you so much for doing this. I think that's so important. It's a great resource, and keep up the great work.
All right. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of the summer. God bless, Brandon.
I will. Thank you.